Alright, welcome to your video on using equations as models. Okay, equations used as models. So we're going to take a look at this paragraph here. You're an aspiring entrepreneur. You save your money and you spend $300 researching and developing your own line of preserves and jellies that uses no refined sugar. Your own line uses no refined sugar, right? Latest trend, right? The production cost is $2 per jar. So once you develop the line, then to produce it is $2 per jar. You want the cost of development and production, both the development, right, that cost you $300, development and production which was $2, to just be $5. Okay, excuse me, be $5 per jar. How many jars must you produce so that your average cost of development and production is $5 a jar? So let's do this. Let's first recall, if we're talking about the average of something, the average cost is what we're asked about in this problem. So let's just recall some things. If I had $1 and another item that was $3 and another item that's $8, then how would I average? What would I get? How would I average that? I would add them up and I would divide by how many I have, and that would end up giving me $4, right? Okay, so that's to get the average, or what we call the mean or the average. Okay, so we want the average cost of production and development. Now, here's the problem. We don't know how many things. We don't know how many this is going to be, question mark, right? So let's bring our situation into this knowledge of how to do averages. Okay, so development, right? Development costs $300 to develop this line, this research and development, right? To buy supplies and taste and do all that stuff. Cost you $300. To produce the stuff, it's $2. That's per jar. Now, let's do this. Let's go ahead and say that X is going to represent the number of jars, right? X is going to represent the number of jars. Okay, so this right here is going to be an X. All right, let's do this. So that's development has already been paid, right? You've already paid that money. So, and then this is production. So development and production. Okay, now if I know how many jars I'm going to produce, right, I would divide by that, but I don't know how many, right? It's X, so I'm going to divide by X. I don't know how many jars. Now, you can say, you can realize that this is looking familiar, right? It's looking like some of the problems that we've already worked in this section. Now, I want all of that to be $5 a jar. I want the production and development to be that. Okay? So, we're going to solve this rational equation, right? I know it's rational because I see those x's at the bottom. Now, what can x not be? X can definitely not be 0. We can't have 0 jars, right? Because that would give us undefined. But let's go ahead and now solve the problem. How do we solve this problem? Well, we're going to get the common denominator, right, of both of the things, which is a 1 and or LCM, or LCM. For all of the denominators, there's a 1 and an x, so our LCM is going to be just x. Okay, so we're going to multiply both sides by x. Okay, x over 1 if you wish. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to distribute. Actually, I don't need to distribute because this is a monomial right here. This is a monomial, so I'm just going to multiply the 2. That means this. This is going to cancel with that. So let's see what we have. We have 300 plus 2x is equal to, now I'm just going to leave this part off and just call that 5x. I hope that's okay with y'all. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and go minus 2x because I'm going to get all my x's in one location. And then I'm going to have 300 is equal to 3x. And I'm going to go ahead now and divide by 3, divide by 3. And we get that x is 100. Well, what was my x? X was the number of jars. So that means I need to make 100 jars. And if I make 100 jars, then my production and development cost will be $5 a jar. Now, why is it that it'll be $5? Let's take a look at and see if that is a reasonable thing, if it's reasonable to our understanding. Let's go ahead and do this. What if we made one jar? If I made one jar, if X is 1, then it would cost me $300 plus $2 to make that one jar, and that would give me, I'm going to divide by 1, right, because I only have one jar. So that's 302 divided by 1. That's going to be $302 production and development cost of one jar. What if I made two jars? 300 plus 2 to develop, to produce it. Now divide by 2, that's going to give my average cost will be, what is that, 304 divided by 2, which is $152 a jar. Okay, let's go ahead, keep going, and we've got 3 jars we're going to make. That's 300 plus 2 times 3. We make 3 of them. Divide by 3 and find out the average cost per jar is what? 306 divided by 3 is going to be 102. Notice it's going down. Let's go jump right to 10. Let's say we made 10 jars of preserves or whatever we're doing, jellies, and we divide by the 10 that we know that we're making, and that is what? 320 divided by 10, guess what? That's only $32 a jar. So it makes sense that the more we make, the lower the price of this jar is going to be. So I need to make 100 jars so that the cost of development and production of that is $5. Now I decide what I'm going to sell it for, but I know that my cost of development and production is $5. So I need to have 100 jars. I need to make 100. All right, thanks for watching.